It's time to do the Lilo and Stitch movie review. I am so excited. So, by the time y'all are seeing this, the live action movie is out today, and I am gonna go see it tomorrow. I am so excited. So, yeah, I thought I would include Stitch and his friends. Now, I don't have anything. Now, the funny thing before we get started, I am wondering why there's no Lilo merch. It's just Stitch. But we're going to keep him right here for the duration of the video. And yeah, we're just going to get started. I don't know how long this is going to be. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I've reviewed other movies. I've reviewed like, I think 5 Disney princesses. And there's some movie reviews I forgot I did a long time ago. Like I reviewed the Kim Possible live action, Dangerous Lies, Space Jam: A New Legacy. What else did I review? And Boss Baby Family Business. So if you want to watch any of those, I will put the playlist somewhere in the cards. So let's just get started. Let's get started. Is this your favorite movie? Are you going to go see the movie? Let me know in the comments section. So this is release day, and I also had this ingenious idea. I was like, some of us may need a real refresher of the movie. I know I did, because there are some parts I forgot, because I usually go watch Leroy and Stitch, or the one where he has a glitch. So yeah, this is also the last movie review of the month, and the first one for next month, for anybody who wants to stick around, is The Little Mermaid live action. It's already been filmed. It's been filmed for like 2 months now, and I just put it on today. So it starts off at the Galactic headquarters, and the councilwoman is talking, and of course, Jumbo gets in trouble. Like, he getting in trouble. Grand Councilwoman, she's a very mad lady. She gets mad at him. He's accused for his experiments, and he obviously pleads not guilty. And then we see Stitch for the first time. Well, for some parts of the movie, he's called 626, but for the sake of the review, I'm just going to keep calling him Stitch. And the councilwoman asks, is he a monster? As y'all can see, I'll be posting little pictures throughout this review. And Captain Gantu says he needs to be destroyed. But he's cute though. It ain't his fault that you ain't cute. You're big. Like, you're a big alien. You're bigger than all the aliens in the movie, okay? You're big and tall, okay? And they put Stitch under arrest. Meanwhile, Stitch is trying to find his way out. He's finding any way he can. He's nicking at the thing. He's throwing oil at it, you know? And then he manages to get out, and he takes the red ship, and it's an all-out battle, and all the aliens are there. And then there's this one alien who's like, so Grand Councilwoman's like, so where is he? And he goes to Earth. But she's like, Earth? What is the heck is a Earth? Like, y'all aliens don't know how to say Earth right? You really don't. Like, you really don't. And it gets me every time, like, alien, you said it wrong. You said it wrong. And then we see Pleakley for the first time, Agent Pleakley. He's very into the history of Earth. And Pleakley, not him calling us humans simple. We don't know nothing about you aliens. You are simple-minded, okay? Because he's so fascinated with humans, but you call us simple. And Pleakley asks, like, who can extract him? And, you know, the councilwoman and him are walking, and we see all these other aliens who have been jailed, right? We see them. And he is pissed. He is pissed, and his cell now would be 2. And Jimba is laughing. He's like, oh, he got away. And they're like, yeah. And Councilwoman's like, I am willing to trade your capture for Stitch's capture. And Pleakley's like, I don't want to go to Earth. And then I think Jumba says something like, what has my monster unleashed? And then we see like the sequence of the title. We see the fish, and we hear my personal favorite song of the whole movie, that Hawaiian song, which actually got remade for the movie. Okay, and they want to bring Winona Judd back to do the song at the end, but they probably won't do that. And we see Lilo for the first time. She's supposed to be at practice, but she's over here swimming, looking for Pudge, like some peanut butter or something. I don't know. And Lilo, you're not even where you're supposed to be, honey. You're supposed to be dancing dance practice over here, basically trying to get food for your little friend. And she's taking a picture of the guy with the ice cream, and it stays falling. And the girls don't like Lilo. Lilo thinks that these girls like her, and they really don't. Like, she finally gets there, and, you know, Lilo brought some water with her, okay? She was wet. She was wet from swinging in the water, and like, she slips on the water, and they all fall. Then she gets into this whole thing about tuna, like this whole rant about tuna. And Myrtle basically set herself up. She's like, "You're crazy. You think you can call somebody crazy and get away with it? Those are fighting words." So then Lilo was like, "Pow pow pow" to Myrtle, and like, you expected you wasn't gonna get old pow pow? You don't be calling your peers crazy? Are you nuts? And then the Hulu teacher's like, "Maybe we should call your teacher." She's like, "No, I'll be good. I practice. I just want to dance," So she's like that. And of course, they don't include Lilo. Like she is supposed to stay at the dance school, and she leaves. And she made her doll scrump. That part always, like, as even watching it as an adult and even as a child, she talked about it laying eggs. I don't care. I don't want to hear about nothing laying no damn eggs. Anyone want to hear that? And then Nani is over here looking for Lilo. And then, Cobra is in his car. He's actually on his way to see Nani and Lilo, but Nani doesn't know it's him. And she's like, "You stupid head." And, she goes to the house. And, of course, Lilo is playing Elvis. And Nani's like, "Parade you into a pie." And when the social worker asks, "What is this?" He's going to be like, And then, Cobra comes and she's like, "It's love and nurturement." And then, Cobra asks Lilo about and then Cobra Bubbles pops up and she's like, "Oops, my bad." And then she gets in the house. Cobra asks Lilo about her bringing, and Nani is telling her, but then Lilo gonna ask something else, and she's like, "And like to be disciplined." And then Nani's like, "Well, that's enough sugar for you." She's over here doing the most. And Cobra's like, "I'm the one they call when things go wrong." And Nani, she's trying really hard, but she can't be her mother and her father. Like, they lost them. I think it was in a car crash, right? And they lost them. And then we got Lilo, 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 honey. Why are you messing with some damn voodoo? I said this in another review or something else. I said we don't mess with the voodoo, okay? And talking about her friends need to be punished. Like, I'm sorry, baby girl. Those girls were not your friends. They didn't even want to be your friends. Like, I know she wanted friends really badly, but they didn't want to be her friends. And Cobra says to Nani, "You got 3 days to change my mind, or I'm gonna take her and put her in a home with somebody else." And then that is when so Cobra Bubble leaves and Lilo runs, right? She runs, because she knows Nani's gonna get her. And then Lilo cries when Nani's like, "Do you want to be taken away?" And you could see the tears in her eyes because she don't want to be taken away. She wants to stay with her sister, even though she beefed with her sister. They were beefing until towards the end of the movie. They were beefing a lot. There was one part of the movie where Lilo was mumbling. I think she was like, I don't understand what she was saying. And then Lilo and Nani start arguing about a rabbit or something. And then she's like, "At least a rabbit would behave better than you. Nani and Lilo are talking, and she says that her camera is full. And she's like, "A shooting star." And then she says, I call it. And then Nani is like, she's like, "Gravity is suffocating, is getting on me." And she's like, "I did this yesterday." And she's like, "You are crushing me. Why do you act so weird?" Or something she said like that. And then Lilo wishes for a friend, someone who won't run away, someone who will actually talk to her. And I feel like this is good for her. She deserves to be a friend. I kind of felt bad for her though. Like, watching it as an adult, you realize that Lilo didn't really have any friends, and that's all she really wanted. And those girls were mean to her. For what reason? I don't know. Like, she shouldn't have been friendless. And I've always wondered this. Like, why don't they like her? Do they think she's weird? Why don't y'all like her? And then we see Stitch playing in the rain with a frog, and then a car runs over him, right? Then we see Stitch. He wakes up in the kennel, and he's down here. And then, like, when there's a part in a minute, Jumbo finds Stitch, and he gets away, and he goes hides. Stitch gets rid of his alien form and becomes what we know him as today. I wonder why, like, are there any stuffies of him in his alien form? Because even on the shirts, they make him in his dog form, Stitch disguises himself as a dog. And the lady's like, Lilo, they told the dog person, and Nani says, like, "Go check somebody out." And then she's looking around, and all the dogs are up here. She's like, "Hello, are there any animals up in here?" And there ain't no animals up in here. But we see Stitch. She's like, "Hi." And he's like, "Hi." And then, she brings him out and she was like, we thought he was dead this morning. And the lady was like, you don't want some other dog? She was like, no, he's good. And like, I think Nani was really scared of him, like the whole movie. And like, why are you scary? And then Lilo, if you're a judge of character for him, I don't know. And the dog person is pretty much judging the name that Lilo wanted to give Stitch. She's judging it. And she's like, I want to buy him. So Nani gives her $2 and Lilo gives the $2 back to her. And Jumba's about, like, I'm about to get him, okay? And Jumba want to go down there, but Pleakley is like, we cannot be seen. We are aliens. We cannot be seen. So I'm kind of wondering, in the live action, are they just going to turn them into humans? Because I heard that the production, like, they could not, make them aliens in the human world, So I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if that rumor's true. And her friends run, and she really thinks these are friends. She's like, I'm sorry for punching you and pulling your hair and punching you in the face. And she's like, you're weird. And then she's like, I got a new dog. And Myrtle's like, calls him ugly. And her friends, they're such followers. Co-sign. She's like, yeah. Y'all sound like, y'all know Recess, right? With the Ashleys, and they would be co-signing what each other says, or even better, Brats, where those two girls, they'd be like, yeah, like co-signing off each other. That's what those girls sound like, okay? Like Kirsty and Casey. And somebody finally sticks up for Lilo, and guess who it is? It's Stitch. And he takes her bike. He takes Myrtle's bike, like, bad. And then Lilo shows Stitch his badness level, so they're at Nani's job. Trying to get a job. And then we meet David, Nani's future boyfriend, okay? And then we see Stitch do the most disgusting thing. Well, he did quite a few disgusting things throughout the whole movie. He ate the cake, and then he put it back. You nasty. And then David tries to ask her out. He really has a big crush on Nani. And, she said, I got a lot going on right now. And, I think David had burned himself, like, he's like one of those fire torchy thingies persons. And she's like, you smell like a lawnmower. And then Lilo telling all the tea, about Nani liking David. She's like, I like his butt and fancy hair. Like, Lilo, stop reading your sister's diary. And then Jumba and Pleakley try to catch him again. Like, they're at the restaurant. And, Stitch spots him. And, of course, what does he do? He takes his whole mouth and almost bites his head off. And I'm like, dang, I know his breath stink. I'm just saying. And then Nani loses her job in the process because the way Stitch was acting. And, they're trying to stop him and everything. Lilo is very excited to have Stitch. But Stitch ain't a good dog. He don't know how to act right. And then, she gave him caffeine, like a little big bottle full of caffeine. And, of course, that done woke him up. Okay. And I think Pleakley liked that wig a little too much. I'm just saying. And then Pleakley thinking that the mosquito likes him. It's like one of them, two of them, three of them, five of them, six of them. And, like, they all cover him up. And then he gets stung majorly. And then Lilo is trying to, I guess, remodel Stitch. Now, this scene right here I'm about to mention, I think there was a little snippet going around on Instagram. We see Nani, right? As she's working on something. And then Lilo's like, look. And, it's a completely different song. And it's not her in the bed. So I don't know if they changed that scene in live action. And then Cobra Bubbles comes in. And Stitch hits Cobra with something. I don't know what it was. And Cobra is pissed. As expected. Cobra don't want her jobless. And he's like, you need to get a job. And this dog needs to become a model assistant. And Nani is going all around her city in Hawaii. And she's not finding anything. No luck. So then David's like, you know what? I'm going to take you two girls and Stitch out for a surf. And Nani stayed looking at Stitch weird. Like she was doing this the whole movie. She really don't like Stitch. And Stitch wants to join in with them. I think it's cute. But he realizes that he's not included. Then he wants Lilo. He nudges Lilo. And he's like, wants him to join on the surfboard. And then you got these two mofos, Jumba and Pleakley, at the fat of the water. Then Stitch actually, Jumba drags down Stitch, but Stitch was holding Lilo. So all three of them get dragged down. And Nani's like, Stitch dragged her down, and they're gonna go get her. And Cobra comes and knows that she is trying and tells her that he needs to think what's best for her and that he will be back for Lilo in the morning. And this broke Nani, and Stitch looks sad. Like, I think he's finally understanding what is going on. And David's like, I want to help, but Nani's like, I need time with my sister right now. And it made me want to cry because I felt like even David was like, everything was fine until you came along. Like, you're blaming Stitch? It's not his fault. Okay, he was trying to get away from Jumper and Blakely. And he just used Lilo as a way out. No offense. And he sees all these little ducks. He's like, dang, I want a family too. And Nani starts singing. And Stitch is just looking on. Stitch has a beautiful singing voice. Lilo is talking to Stitch, asking him about his family. She wants him to be a part of the family, okay? And Grand Councilwoman fired those two. And she's like, I'm done with you two. And Jumbo's like, now we could do it our way. Because your way wasn't working. And I loved Nani and Lilo's heart-to-hearts. Like, it's great to see them from arguing to actually getting along and about to be missing each other. And this was before Stitch left. Then David comes to the door and tells Nani she thinks she found her a job. And, Nani is telling Lilo, you wait right here. And he personally is like, Nani's like, I really owe you one. And just date me and we could be even, So we see if that happens. And then Stitch comes back and Blakely was like, where's the girl? And then again, there's this all out, drag out, throw down, whatever. And she calls Cobra. She's like, aliens are attacking my house. And I get why, but girl, you're about to get taken now. Because, like, Cobra wanted Nani to get a job, and she kept leaving her. Which I get why, because there was nobody else to watch her. But I don't know how old Lilo was in the movie, but she needs to stop leaving her. And Nani's like, I promise I'll be here for the Monday or Sunday deliveries. And then the fire trucks come and turns left. She's like, please don't turn left. And they turn left. Cobra gets Lilo in the car, and she's like, Cobra's like, I think you need her more than she needs you. And then Lilo's like, I'm tired of arguing, so she runs out the car. And then Stitch ends up saving the picture, and, Lilo's like to Stitch, you ruined everything. And she's like, and then Stitch reveals his true self, and she's like, you're one of them? Get away from me. And, Gantu takes the both of them. Nani, and then, Lilo falls out of the ship. Stitch falls out of the ship. And Nani slaps Stitch around. Jumbo finally catches Stitch. And Blakely's like, oops. And I personally love the scene of the four of them. Because, we see that scene. If you're on TikTok, whether you're a viewer or a creator, you see that scene a lot. And Nani gets sick of them asking questions. She's like, a little girl, this thing, blah, blah, blah. And then Blakely's like, needs a hush. She's like, at least you don't have nobody to yell at anymore. How would you know that? Because you lurking. You lurking and you stalking, my dude. And she cries. And then Stitch like, Ohana means family. And family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. And then Stitch was like, wait, I want to do something. He asks Jumbo for help in his alien language. He's like, you want me to do what? After all you put me through? And she's like, eat. So they ride away on the bike, and Stitch is excited to see the red ship. And he was like, how did you think I got down here? And Stitch tries to save Lilo. Stitch takes the truck. Love that, because it was another favorite part of the movie. And then Stitch just drove the truck into freaking lava. But then he goes like this, and he catapults himself up there. And Gantu can't stand Stitch, but you just got kicked off your own ship. He cute, and he kicked you off your own ship. And he's like, she's like, Lilo said, you came back for me, of course. And David is surfing and is like, what the heck? And Lilo's like, can you give us a ride? And David's like, sure, but I'm gonna have to take 2 trips. And then Lilo asks for a ride. Oh. And then, soon as David gets Stitch on dry land, the Grand Councilwoman's people take him. And, she's tired of him. She's mad at everybody. She's pissed at everybody. And she said it would not have been, but Stitch was like, do I have to go on the ship? And the Grand Councilwoman was like, yes, can say goodbye? And she's like, yes. She says goodbye to them. And he's like, I found a family all on my own. I thought that part was so cute. And then, this part made me cry. Because, you think they're gonna take him? And Cobra asks Lilo, didn't you buy that thing out of shelter? And Lilo tells the Grand Councilwoman that if you take him, I own him, not you. And you're stealing. Grand Councilwoman's like, don't you look familiar, Cobra? And she's like, he is sentenced for a sentence here on Earth. Well, she said Earths. Again, you aliens cannot say Earth, right? And they're under protection of whatever she said. And again, Councilwoman is sick of all of them at this point. She's like, don't let those two stay on my ship. So by default, Jumba and Pleakley get to stay too. And, you know, they're rebuilding the house. Cobra's helping them. Then we see this montage of Stitch being in part of their lives, and Pleakley and Jumba. Of course, this movie gets a 10 out of 10. Love the music. And the Winona Judd's song, she redoes a cover of Elvis Presley's song. I was literally singing to it at the end. This particular movie, I like to stick around for the credits because you see the montage. I don't know if they're going to do that again with the live action movie. Maybe in the next Feisty Loud, I'll let y'all know what I thought of the movie. I'm not vlogging it. As I said, I'm not vlogging no more this month because I already vlogged like twice and I'm straight. But anyways, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If there's a movie that you would like to request, it could be Disney related or Nickelodeon. The only things I've done Nickelodeon was Sandy Cheeks, and I still would like to review Plankton's movie, so maybe y'all get that in June or July. But I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.